Hey, Paul from Trusted House Painter here. A lot of people ask me, can you paint over cedar, and what's the benefit of painting cedar? And in this video, it's real short. I'm gonna make it succinct. Cedar is a very soft wood. It has a lot of oils and tannins in it. It's a unique wood, but it's very soft. And cedar really likes to be stained because the stain soaks into the grains, whether that's a solid stain, a semi-transparent stain, or a clear stain. Stains work really well on cedar. And if you want to paint a cedar siding, you first might want to look at staining it with a solid stain, because most cedar is treated, and if it's already treated with a stain, it's probably best to carry on with a stain. Whereas when you don't paint it properly, when you can paint cedar, mind you, but when you don't prep it properly, you don't use a oil primer as you should for cedar, there can be problems. And so when you look at my friend's house here, he's removing his siding, and these are the boards, the cedar siding boards that were on his siding. And you might not be able to tell fully here, but you can see a lot of bubbling happening. And when I put my 5-way to it, or my little scraper, you can see that it lifts up. So do you see how there's wood grains on the back side of that? The wood grains are still stuck to the coating. So what happened here is that someone had stained this board originally. You can see down here where we did some scraping that it has been treated with something before. But I don't believe they used an oil primer. An oil primer really works well on cedar. It really sets the wood, primes the wood, and it sets a good coat base for the paint. Now, whoever painted this board, I don't believe used a primer. And if they did, then what we're looking at here is the letting go of the original coating. So there's two reasons why you'll find bubbles on your house. Like this is a little bubble here, you can see it. They can be little bubbles, they can be big bubbles. Bubbles come in all sorts of sizes, but they're very prominent on cedar siding. Why? Because cedar is soft, cedar has oils, cedar has tannins. So this person, or what happened here, was I popped this bubble, and you can see that I'm seeing the wood underneath it. That means that the original primer or coating or whatever they used didn't adhere to the grains. You can actually see right here, there's some white color here. So it might have been solid stained at one point and then painted, or that could be a primer and then paint. I'm not too sure. I don't know the history of this. But what you see is the fibers, the wood fibers sticking to the actual paint coating. That tells me that the original fibers let go of the coating that was there. So if I was to pop this bubble and it's white underneath it, well, then that would tell me that the green coating let go of the white coating and that the white coating is still stick to the wood. But in this situation, you can see that the wood fibers have stuck to the actual piece of paint that's bubbled up, just like those ones there. So this is a common problem with cedar siding, very common problem with cedar siding, and with people that just paint cedar siding houses without properly priming the wood or anything like that. So in this, if you can take away anything from this video, just remember that cedar is a soft wood. It likes stain, oil stains. It loves oil stains. You can use acrylic latex stains if it's new wood. Always make sure that the moisture content of the wood, the water moisture content of the wood is less than 15%. Use a moisture reader to determine, whether or not you should stain it. You can paint cedar. However, you should always use like a long oil primer or just any kind of high quality primer. You should talk to your local paint store or your professional rep about what kind of primer you should use prior to painting it. And as a general rule, again, darker colors have a higher heat signature. So this wall is facing south. This is a dark green. Well, it's definitely going to heat up a lot more than if it was like a white color. Light colors have a less heat signature, therefore they don't heat up the substrate as much. So that's another tip that you want to keep in mind. But yes, you can paint cedar, and it likes stain. So if you can stick with stain, stick with stain. If you want to color, you can go with a solid stain over top of whatever the current stain you have. That would probably be a better solution than to just put paint on it. So don't ever put paint directly over stain, because you start to see what's happening here. So if you found this video informational, give us a like. Also, if you've got any questions, you can contact us at 1-866-PAINT-18. That's 1-866-724-6818. Or you can send us an email at support@trustedhousepainter.com. And if you need professional painters, feel free to use the app at trustedhousepainter.com.